everybody. Welcome to Top Comics to Pre-Order in a Flash. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our real quick show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that you can pre-order by this weekend. So head on over to infinityflux.net right now. Place your pre-order so you're guaranteed to get all the comic goodness that you want. And we've got a great show for you. So let's get into it.
We're going to start with Dazzler #1. This is our next From the Ashes Era X book, although I do think this is just a mini-series. But in this one, Dazzler finally sets out on a new world tour. She's got a road crew with her consisting of Domino, Strong Guy, and Multiple Man, which I think is great.
Strong Guy's a great roadie.
Yeah, for sure. But then there's a violent attack that may derail her tour before it even begins. So if you're excited for more Dazzler, this is the book for you.
Next up, we've got Universal Monsters presents Frankenstein #1, following up on our Creature from the Black Lagoon and our Dracula. We are now getting Frankenstein in the classic Universal Monsters fashion by Michael Walsh this time. And in this miniseries, it's very cool. Each issue is going to focus on a different limb of Frankenstein and the story of the person who had it before Frankenstein got it and added it to his monster. So probably going to be pretty creepy and kind of a cool anthology style story.
Next is Marvel Zombies Dawn of Decay #1. This is a new Marvel Zombies title. And this one is focused on Groot because he is patient zero. Things go pretty terribly when Groot sneezes in Captain America's face and infects him with something, I don't know what, but suddenly he's being attacked by a group of zombified Avengers, and only he and the Hulk are impervious, and they'll have to fight their way through a horde of zombies in New York to try to get to Bruce Banner's lab to find a cure.
That sounds crazy. Next up, we got Star Wars The Acolyte Kelnacca. So this is a one-shot issue that is going to explore the past of Kelnacca seen in the Disney Plus show Star Wars The Acolyte. So find out, I don't know if this is going to go all the way back kind of the flashback scenes, or is this going to touch on any of his time in exile? I'm not sure, but it's going to be cool to get some more expanded story on some of these characters that we met during the show.
Next up is Prairie Gods #1, and this is described as Twilight Zone meets Sin City, and this is going to be another kind of horror anthology book. Each issue is going to be self-contained and centers around weird supernatural events in a small town called Broadacres. And in this issue, there is a race car driver named Freddie Davis who comes back home. He buys the abandoned speedway there with the intention of racing its only undefeated driver, the devil himself.
Oh. Next up, we have a new What If. We just this week got What If Donald Duck became Wolverine. Well, this time, What If Donald Duck became Thor? Apparently, they're all gunning for Donald Duck. But in this one, you can pretty much get the idea of it. Donald and his nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, are on an archaeological dig when they discover a cane that transforms into a hammer and transforms Donald into Thor. This is going to be fun. Another one-shot like the Wolverine one. And just get to see the Marvel lens through the Disney filter.
Yeah. Next is a new book from Distillery called The Missionary. This is written by Ryan Stegman, and the art is by Jason Howard. And this is about a guy named Bryce Hunter. He's a very religious man, but his faith is shattered one day when he catches his wife with the elder from his church. And this sends him spiraling into despair, into the hands of a demonic entity named Uvidus. But instead of rejecting the possession of that demonic entity, he actually embraces it and wants to be bad. But the demonic entity wants to be a little bit less than evil. But before they can really work on their new partnership, there is a murderous group of demons that break free from hell and threaten to reshape Earth into their new kingdom.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like a buddy cop thing with the two. Next up, we have a new miniseries called Convert, and this one is about a science officer who finds himself stranded on a distant planet after a crash, and he is haunted by the ghost of his dead crew, but right on the verge of his own death from starvation and everything, he finds something, a pretty astonishing discovery on this planet. I've seen a couple of preview pages. I still don't know the full story, but it looks like there may be some other stuff on this planet that's a little bit different.
And next is Flash Gordon Quarterly #1. This is a new quarterly special featuring a multiverse of stories. This is in line with the current, or the brand new Flash Gordon series. There's a story in this called The Fall of King Vultan, and it expands on that Flash Gordon series, like I said. And it's a father and son tale that brings deadly mercenaries to Sky City. And there's 2 other stories in this that also are centered around Flash Gordon, but they have new genres and new settings. So, like a Flash Gordon multiverse story, there's one about it's a Western tale of trading stardust for tumbleweeds, and there's another one called Flash Detective Services. So more Flash Gordon, but in different environments, I guess.
I feel like when you go multiverse, you always go cowboy.
Yeah.
Cowboy is always one of the first things you got to hit. Next up, we have Ultimates #4. Now, we wanted to spotlight this issue, other than this has been a great series so far, really interesting, with the news from San Diego Comic-Con with Robert Downey Jr. Returning to the Marvel Universe to play Doctor Doom this time. The writer of the Ultimates, Denise Camp, has been talking about, if you want to understand that, read Ultimates, specifically this issue, to understand that. We don't know what that means, but that means that we need to read this issue. Right. I'm very excited about it. You already get this kind of idea in here of Doom trying to recreate kind of the world he was meant to inhabit rather than this Ultimate Universe. So this is one to be on the lookout for. This is one we don't know exactly what it's going to be about, but from what the writer says, this is going to be one to keep our eyes out on. And that is it for Top Comics to Pre-Order and a Flash. Thank you so much for watching. A little note, we have a brand new show starting. We're going to record it next. It will be up on our feed very soon. It is going to be our version of a letters page. Starting off, we probably don't have too many letters because it's just getting started, but this is going to be a little bit more casual, interactive video. So if you want some more comic talk, stay tuned for that one. I also have our show coming up on Friday where we'll be going over these books, plus a lot more, their variants, all that good stuff. So, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see ya.